Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Victorinox Swiss Army Airboss Mechanical Chronograph Black Edition, reference 241741. And in the Airboss Black Edition, there are actually two different, rather similar chronograph watches. One comes in a 45mm wide case with the movement actually flipped around, so you have the pushers here, and you have another crown here for internal rotating bezel. This is what I think is a slightly more mainstream version. It comes in a 42mm wide case, which is the same size as the three-hand versions, but the case is going to be thicker because of the chronograph movement. The movement inside is the known and loved and reliable Swiss ETA Valjo 7750. And you can see it through the back of the case there, through the sapphire crystal. There's a custom rotor for Victorinox Swiss Army, but there isn't really any other additional decorations, but that's okay. It's not that expensive a watch. There's some nice perlage there in the bracelet, which I thought was nice, in the deployant clasp there. So let's put this watch on, and I think it's important to sort of emphasize the fact that it's actually not that easy to find 42mm wide watches that have the 7750. Of course, they're common, but this is a really nice mainstream size. So one of the things I really liked about this watch was just how nicely it looked on the wrist. I thought it was very sort of universal in its appeal. The black edition, of course, comes in a matte PVD coated black steel case that is pretty nice to look at. The dial is very, very legible. You can see that the hour indicators there are applied and raised. Hands are easy to see. There's this red, I call it floating ring, which is applied under the sapphire crystal. This is a controversial element of the design because it does look a little bit different, but I like it because it adds depth. The funny part is that you can see here that red ring kind of cuts right through the date window. It doesn't really make the date window any more difficult to read, but it's just kind of a funny design thing where you can see a little quirk. But quirks like that, in my opinion, add personality. The watch is water resistant to 100 meters, so it's pretty durable. There's a lot of things you can do with it. A lot of the times in chronograph watches, it's 50 meters or 30 meters, but that's 100 meters. Basically means that you can go swimming with it without a problem, and it also does not have a screw down crown, which means that it's pretty decently durable for that. I just really like this piece because of the design. I think Victorinox Swiss Army does a great job of making very fashionable tool watches that feel kind of timeless. And a lot of people like a classic conservative sport watch look. And I'm thinking about those people when I'm recommending a design like this. And the hints of red add a little bit more sporty personality. So I think that's overall a good job. The deployant clasp there, you can see it's flush with your wrist or with the bracelet, so it doesn't add sort of bulk. There's these little buttons that push out. I'm not in love with those. One thing they did to sort of add a degree of safety, and what I mean by safety is that what can happen is you can accidentally push these pushers and the bracelet will open up, but there's a little clasp here that you need to open up, and then you can open up the bracelet, which is a nice little feature. So I think it's a pretty good job how they did it. So again, this is the Victorinox Swiss Army Airboss Mechanical Chronograph Black Edition, reference 241741. The price of this watch is $2,350, and you can see more on aBlogtoWatch.